This is Gerardo Del Real with Resource Stock Digest. Joining me today is the chairman and CEO of Mawson Gold, Mr. Michael Hudson. Mike, how are you?
I'm good, thanks, Gerardo. Very well. Nice to be back.
Thanks for coming on such short notice. Stock was down a little bit today, which I thought was a bit silly given the fact that you announced a technical success on what was essentially a free hole. It was a government-funded exploration hole that there's actually a lot to like about, given that you are exploring an elephant country. You do a much more elegant and accurate job of explaining the details and providing the context. But would you care to comment on today's news, the drilling at F11 target in Australia?
Sure. First up, it's in Queensland, which is 2,500 kilometres away from Victoria. So Australia is a big place, and this is a very separate project to Victoria. If people are confusing the two, where we have been drilling and on two projects down in Victoria consistently, and there's a lot more results that are in the lab at the moment that we'll see more of soon. This was a separate project in Mount Isa. Mount Isa's located in Queensland. It's produced 5 to 10% of the world's base metals as an area. It's huge, and it extends undercover as far as it outcrops, and it hasn't been explored undercover beyond sort of very shallow, and when I say shallow, sort of 50 to 80 meter thickness of cover. So a vast majority of this block that's produced a majority of the world's base metals and silver that included, and some gold, has been essentially unexplored. And we were funded for $200,000 Australian by the Queensland government to test a big gravity anomaly undercover that was around 300 meters undercover that hadn't had a drill hole within 10 kilometres of this area. So this was the government looking to gain new information and hopefully make a discovery based on that new information. So we put out news today on that drill hole. It was fully funded, a free roll of the dice on a big high-risk target for Mawson shareholders, and we put out the geology and some of the description, and there's a link in the press release to our chief geologist giving an explanation of the rocks. I think the way you stated it, Gerardo, is very fair. It is a technical success. Certainly, in the information we gave, it's not the next Ernest Henry or Olympic Dam, the next big iron oxide copper gold deposit that we can see in the hole. But that being said, there was interesting rocks that had sulfides, including a little bit of copper through the hole in the right alteration. So exploration is a business that you piece bits of information together, little bits of information, and create a story to lead you to the target. And that story is scientifically driven, and we like what we see in this hole. And whether we need to drill more holes into this or we joint venture it out, we'll see. We've already got universities involved to study this, so we've got theses being written on this one drill hole because it is so unique, and we'll see where it goes. But let's see where the assays are in the new year, and then we'll make some decisions.
Excellent. You referenced Victoria and the main focus in Australia right now. How are things coming along on that front in regards to the assay labs and the assays that are pending and the drill program?
Yeah, the assay labs are a little slower than what we were told and what we saw earlier on. So we've actually only put hole results out from 3 holes, but there's a swag of holes. We've had 2 rigs operating for the last few months, and Sunday Creek is certainly delivering, and we've seen that in the first 3 holes, and we've got many more holes that we're anticipating. The results will be released soon, so that will have more results. Redcastle's a bit more of a head scratcher for us, and we'll put out a whole series of results there in one batch because the initial drilling has seen seen interesting rocks, but we're still working out exactly where to point the drill rig, and we're still drilling, and we're still collecting all that geophysical information, and by the end of the year we'll have all that information, that early drilling, the geophysical information, and become very predictive about where we want to go with the drill rig in the new year. So we're actually extremely well placed in there, and I know it's been a month or two of lack of news flow from Victoria, but never fear, we have lots of results imminent, and while that's been happening, we made another discovery in Finland, of course. So if you look at our news flow, it's been gold, 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 and hopefully we can continue that trend.
Well, not only gold, it should be said high grade gold, and often at surface.
Exactly. So it is actually a good thing to have, fully permitted, fully funded, finding gold in a gold bull market.
Well said, Mr. Hudson. Anything else you'd like to add?
That's a good way to leave it.
Fantastic. Thanks again for the update. It's appreciated.
Thanks, Gerardo.